Hi everybody, Robin Warner here again, back with more news. Last week, Honda announced the 2024 Prologue, the brand's first fully electric crossover SUV, yet its second fully electric car announced in just a matter of a few weeks, if you include the performance brand Acura, which of course I do, because they announced the ZDX just a few weeks ago. And just like the ZDX, the Prologue is a result of Honda's co-development work with General Motors on the Ultium platform and battery packs. And in the Prologue, you can really see a similarity between this and the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer EV. At least I can. And also, just like the ZDX, Honda did invite me to take a look at the Prologue up close and in person. Unfortunately, my schedule didn't allow it this time. I am very interested in taking a look at this car in person and will do so the moment I get the chance. All right, let's dig into it. The Prologue is not replacing anything. Rather, it's an additional SUV that Honda is building that slots neatly between the CR-V and the Pilot. Well, okay, I guess technically it slots in between the Passport and the Pilot. I'll go ahead and put the dimensions up on the screen so you can see those here. You can see that it has a massive wheelbase. Lengthwise, this is pretty much right in the middle. It is 7.2 inches longer than a CR-V, 7.9 inches shorter than the Pilot. And just like the CR-V and the Pilot, Honda will offer the Prologue in both front and all-wheel drive configurations. The front-wheel drive version will be a single motor mounted up front with a yet-to-be-announced amount of power and torque, but the all-wheel drive version will get two electric motors, one mounted on each axle, and make a combined 288 horsepower and 333 pound-feet of torque. Honda says all-wheel drive will be available on all three trims announced so far, EX, Touring, and Elite, and it will come standard on the Elite trim Prologue. Regardless of which powertrain you choose, you will get energy from an 85 kilowatt-hour Ultium battery pack, which Honda estimates will deliver about 300 miles of range. Honda says that it can be charged at up to 155 kilowatts, which, if you do, will give you 65 miles of driving range in about 10 minutes of charging. This is an Ultium chassis, like I said, but it's not the same Ultium chassis that Honda used to build the Acura ZDX. And this one has an independent multi-link suspension geometry for both the front and rear axles. And Honda will bolt up to 21-inch wheels to the Prologue, though 19s are standard. If you do go with the 21s, that will still be 1 inch shorter than the ZDX's 22-inch wheels, by the way. Looking inside the Honda Prologue, it is a two-row crossover SUV that seats up to 5. Behind the second row, you get 25 cubic feet of storage space. Fold the second row down, you get 58 cubic feet of storage space. Pretty healthy numbers, but actually a fair amount less than the almost 8-inch shorter Honda CR-V. So that does give you a sense of, while this is longer than the CR-V, the overall shape of it is very different. And it must be said, not necessarily quite as space efficient. Looking up front, you do get an 11-inch fully digital instrument cluster, as well as an 11.3-inch center console touchscreen. Those screens are the exact same size as the Acura ZDX. And if you get the Elite trim Prologue, you will get a 7-inch head-up display as well. Standard equipment will include Google built in, which is Google Assistant, Google Maps, and Google Play. Google Maps especially is a real nice feature to have. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You also get 4 USB Type-C chargers, 2 up front, 2 for the second row, and Honda says they will deliver up to 45 watts of charging power. And there is also this pocket-shaped wireless smartphone charger as well. So plenty of ways to charge plenty of things. Also, one noticeably absent thing is a push-button Prindle. It is now mounted up on the steering column. You can see the little P at the end right there. It's interesting to see that Honda is going away from that, and I am curious to see if Acura will follow. As I mentioned at the top, this is a 2024 model year car. Pre-sale is available later this year, and first deliveries will happen early next year. Honda says the base price of this car will be in the upper 40s, which I'm going to go ahead and guess is like $47,000, $48,000. Honda was quick to point out, however, that is before the government incentives, both federal and state. So depending on which state you live in, especially after those incentives, it's not that expensive compared to other SUVs of this size. Honda also said that this is just the beginning. There is a whole slate of electric vehicles coming out by 2030, and that the brand intends to only sell zero emissions vehicles by the year 2040. That tells me that they're not ruling out hydrogen as a possible energy source, but the internal combustion engine probably isn't going to last all that much longer in Honda vehicles. Or maybe there's a breakthrough in biofuels coming down the pike that we don't yet know about. Can't say. But I have to say, it's really interesting to see Honda's take on going into the mainstream EV market and starting with a relatively compact, technically, I guess, mid-size SUV as its opening salvo into the mainstream, going right after one of the most popular segments in the market today. I think it's a sharp-looking car. I think it has a lot of interesting features, and I do think it has a lot of smart conveniences built into it. Google built in especially is something that's really nice. I've experienced that with Polestar and really liked it. And you got to maximize the wireless technologies that are available. So of course that's really smart. We're kind of in this place where all the momentum is going EV. So now it's really a matter of seeing which brand is doing it the most intelligently. And I think it's too early to judge on that just yet. But so far, what Honda's doing seems to be a smart approach to me. And I also think it's pretty measured, at least to start, that we're getting one new electric SUV right now, not like 3 or 4. So how quickly will people adopt to this? How quickly will people come around to this? How quickly will infrastructure keep up? Those will be the interesting things to come, which, by the way, Honda did announce, along with 5 other manufacturers, that it is part of a brand-neutral high-speed charging network that will go across the United States and Canada, and we should start seeing those in the summer of 2024, summer of next year. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly those things come up, how reliable they are, and how much that eases the burden of going EV, especially for folks that like to travel. But for a lot of people, especially now, this will largely be something that you use to get around town and then charge at home overnight. And in that sense, Honda will also have a home electrification strategy, and they will offer different incentives that you can choose from, whether you want just a straight charging credit to get started with your new car, or a price reduction for installing a level 2 charger in your home, things like that. It is an incredibly fascinating time to follow the auto industry right now. And I am excited, a little nervous, but largely excited to see how these new vehicles come on. The fact that we're talking about 288 horsepower, 333 pound-feet of torque, and that doesn't even really bat an eye. Those were pretty heady numbers not that long ago. Now it's pretty standard fare. To be fair, these cars are also much heavier with the big battery packs, but electric power also provides really nice broad ranges. So they're quick, and they're quick to respond, and they have the potential to be a lot of fun. The potential. Anyway, as I learn more, I'll be sure to share. And of course, the moment I get the chance to drive it, I'll definitely share that as well. Okay, goodbye for now.